Alright, so this is part 2 for the pill capsule modeling, and this is where we left off. Now I want to talk about something called low poly to sub D modeling workflow. Now if I were to select this, okay, if I press 3, see what happens? It kind of collapses and it loses its shape, and now it changes color and it just looks weird, right? If I select this, press 3, it also loses its edge. Now that's sub D. If I press 1, goes back to normal. Press 1, goes back to normal. Sub D is basically where it's what we call being smooth or high poly. So if I have this selected, I'm in level 1 with the 1 key, low poly. Now if you look here under faces, right here, 352, okay, faces. The moment I press 3, the 3 key for the high poly sub D, look what happens. See how it changes to 5,504, even though it looks more or less the same, slightly different, right? So that's sub D. This is how it's gonna look like, when you're ready to, render it and make it look all pretty and stuff, and just polished and nice. Versus 1, this is low poly. For games, they don't press 3, right? It's just kept at low poly level 1. For like say commercials, films, or whatever, you want it in level 3, high poly. What modelers do is they go between 1 and 3. Well, first they choose whether if it's gonna be a low poly game type of an asset, or if it's gonna be level 3, which is like a high poly, nice and polished art asset. So we're gonna work between 1 and 3, 1 and 3, 1 and 3, and I'm gonna show you about something called the concept of supporting edge loops, and how when you add something called edge loops, it'll maintain the structure of the shell of the model, the reasoning behind it. What I also want to mention is do not model in sub D3 mode, level 3 mode. It will only confuse you more. Right, so if I'm like this, okay, see how it's different? And then let's say I choose to use an insert edge loop. See right here? Insert edge loop, that one. Or shift right click, insert edge loop. See what happens? It looks different. And there's a tendency when you're first learning, it will confuse you, because there's an outer see-through shell and an inner shell that's kind of smooshed in, and it's confusing. So that's why it's just better to press 1 like that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna first right click object mode. Let me just select that one. I'm gonna use my isolate select. All right, now I'm gonna add a edge running parallel to this corner, right? Running parallel. And as soon as I add an edge, right, a continuous edge, or what we call edge loop, it's gonna firm up the shell. It's gonna firm the corners. Okay, I'm gonna do the first one. So select it, shift right click, insert edge loop, right? Shift and right click, right? Again, or also this one. Anyway, shift right click, insert edge loop, option box. See, right now I have it slightly different, so I need to reset it. Close it. And then I'm gonna go in here. So this line going this way, you might instinctively click on the line, right? This line, and you might try to drag it, but look what it does. It's working perpendicular, right? That used to always get me confused. So from inside of this line, that you might instinctively go after, is the parallel line, not the parallel, but the perpendicular line cutting across. So you want to click once and drag. Do not let go, just drag. You want to make it right around here. Okay. Now if I press W to get out of the tool, see how the tool changed the cursor. If I press 3, see now it kind of firms up a little bit more. You see this? A bit more of a, there's a little bit more meat to it. I'm gonna press 1, right? 3 and 1 going back and forth. I'm at level 1. Also, you see I'm in component mode, right? The edges. But if I shift right click, this other menu pops up asking me if I want to make other primitives. And so it's confusing. See, I just made one by accident. So what you want to do is select it, hover over it, right? While it's selected. There's a difference. I mentioned this in the PDF guide. If you click out here, now it's working again. See, this Maya can get a little bit glitchy, and you just see it right now, first-hand account. So just be aware of it. So see if it's bad, it's just to select it in object mode, right click object mode, right? Shift right click, insert edge loop. It's good for me to show these little glitches because they will really infuriate you when you're first learning. So it's not me, it's the freaking software. So it's good to show these little nuances. Anyway, I have the insert edge loop tool activated, right? I'm gonna, this perpendicular line, right, to this edge, right, it's running perpendicular. I'm gonna click it, drag, and let go. Then this right here, again, click and drag, let go. See? So the rule is every time you have a corner, you want to do one here, and you want to do one here. Flip it over, you want here, and you also want one here underneath it. See? And if you really want to make it, you know, by the book, you want to put one more here, right in the middle. Reason why is that later on, this perfect midline right here, that will be used as a seam line when you do texturing or something called laying out the UVs. So in total, right click face mode, get 1 and 1 like that. See, there's your one supporting edge loop. Then you have 1 and 1 down there, supporting edge loop. So this loops around, see? It loops around, it loops around. And finally you have right click and hold, edge, this right here. This will be used for making a cut line during UV editing, which is going to be the next project afterwards. So just be aware of that. So that's how you properly do it. Right click and hold, object mode, press 3, boom. See how the shell is maintained. See? Select it, press 1. Here's our construction history. But if you notice when I press 3, you see how it kind of collapses here a bit. It looks kind of ugly. Right? You see? See how I kind of, see this? Zoom in a bit. This is 1. Nice and straight, and then right there. See how it kind of collapses a bit and stuff. So with that being said, I want to go and use my insert edge loop tool, which is this guy right here, right? But it says split edge ring. Again, I don't know why they named it that. When you're first learning, it will confuse you probably. But all you do is have it selected as a shell, right? Right click object mode. Then I'm gonna go, you know what? Let me turn on my isolate select. Wait, no, spacebar. I'm in my perspective, and my isolate select is on. Anyway, so object mode, shift right click, insert edge loop, right? But I want my option box, and I'm going to choose, this is the default, right? I want multiple edge loop. and it's set to 2. If you don't have that, right, let's say I click on that, or this tool right here, the hammer tool, that will always bring up the tool for it, the hammer, if you get lost. That's what I also want to mention. Anyway, set it to 2, close it. Now I'm gonna just put this line right here, click it, let go. Okay, so this also has to do with later down the road when you do UV mapping, where it's not just one big fat plane right here. See, now it's into sections, 1, 2, 3, and it gets smaller, smaller, smaller. That's the proper way to do it. It's more work, but it's good to show. And the inside of it, this edge right here, click once, let go. So I have 1, 2, 3. All right, right click, object mode, press 3. Now there's your perfect shell. Okay, and press 1 and 3, and now you learned about low poly to high poly sub D modeling. You see how this shell is, see how it's kind of curves in more gently now? See how it's more firm and then nicer? See? Anyway, so that's that concept. So I'm gonna uncheck my isolate select. I'm gonna select this one, turn on isolate select, right? And do the same thing. Shift right click, insert edge loop, right? Option box. I'm gonna reset the tool back to relative distance. Basically, it's free flowing. That's what that means, right? I'm in edge mode, okay? And I'm gonna perpendicular line, right? Perpendicular. Click, and right around here. The closer you are, the tighter the edge, right? The closer you are, the tighter the edge. And you don't want to make it like this. This is crazy. This is too tight. Maybe right around here. See? And this right here, click right around here. And then let me put my midline right there for UV editing. I'm gonna look underneath it, click right here, like that. See? Press 3. Now you see how it's nice lip. Right click, object mode. See? Very, very nice. Alt 5, ALT, Alt key and 5 to toggle on and off. Very nice. See the seam? Okay. Next, I want my insert edge loop again. Quickest way is shift right click. You can't beat that. Shift right click while in object mode. Or right here too. That one, I have it so that's automatically going to pull up the tool setting. Multiple edge loop. 2, close it. Go in here. This line right here. Click once, let go. Okay, and inside here, you know what, I need to mention this too. So sometimes if you're not accurate, you click, let's say something like this, right? It actually does the inside. So that's one of the little goofy thing that Maya does, right? Just be aware of it. I'm gonna now click outside. Okay, there. Right click, object mode, click outside. Be aware of where you are. Okay, front. Uncheck the isolate select. Okay, press 3, press 3. Nice, very nice. Now, since this one, I'm gonna do Alt 5 so I can see better. I'm gonna select this. Now you see how my move tool is way out here. It's not over here. Because if you want this animated, chances are you're gonna want it over here. It makes more sense to have the pivot. So what I need to do is move my pivot point. Let me cross out some of this. Alright, so I just crossed out that. I want to talk about the custom pivot point, right? Custom pivot point. So I want to be in one of the orthographic views. So I'm going to space bar and top. Hey, why is this still here? Get rid of that. So I select this, right? Press 1. I want this also to be 1, level 1. Anyway, I'm going to select this. Now, custom pivot point. Press W for the move tool. Okay. Click on D as in David key. D key once. See what happened? It turns into this. Then, so this means it's live. Okay. Now I'm going to hold down the X key. As you can see here, this lights up. This changes. I'm gonna snap. Press W to get out of it because it was still live. Be careful about that. Grab this, click on the D as in David key one time, activates it. Now press and hold X key and grab the arrow, snap. Tool is still live, you have to be careful. This will cause problems if you do this. Don't do stuff like that. Press W to get out of the tool. Okay, so now the custom pivot point is good to go. And then now I want to grab this. I'm in my top view, right? Press 4 for the wireframe, 5 for shaded, 4 for wireframe. This is also in the PDF guide for these specific hotkeys. Anyway, I'm going to just grab it. I'm going to tuck it in a bit, like maybe like this much, right? Because that's what it's like in real life as well. Okay. So I did that. Space bar. Let's take a look at it. All right. Alt 5. Right. Okay, good. Almost done. Alt 5 again. Wireframe unshaded. All right, custom pivot point, check. Center pivot. Let me get the outliner. We're almost done. Here's our group, right? Space bar. Looks like we're. Let me just zoom in. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I don't think I need to center pivot. Yeah, I don't need to center pivot. Here's that shell. Here's this shell. Let me just double check. Right, where it's straight, right in the middle. See right there, right in the middle. Perfect. Okay, so next thing. Don't worry about the center pivot right now. It's not necessary. I'm gonna rename the group. So, see, it was in a group right now because ever since we did the function of extraction, the extract tool, I'm gonna rename this to a capsule, capital GRP, capsule group. So this is a group. If you want to make a group for something else, it's edit, group, or control G. Right, so this is the group. It's clean, there's no data in it, right? This one. But you notice, you see this right here? It has there's a number in there, 1.641. When I had, tucked the capsule inside of it, see? So this is not good. I don't want data. I want this to be clean. It has to do with animation and stuff. So I need to do something called freeze transformations, which is way down here. Yeah, I gotta name it. You know what? Let's name it first. Outliner, okay. You click on it. This one right here. Double click on it. You can open it like that too. See? double click on it, name this one capsule space shell capital R. See? Name this one capsule spacebar shell capital L. When you use a spacebar, it automatically turns into an underscore. The last thing is freeze transformations. So like this one, I have a -2, okay, because when I had originally moved it this way, I need to freeze transformations. Modify freeze transformations. Modify freeze transformations. Or it's this one right here from our custom shelf. Select this one. I can click on freeze transformations, modify freeze transformations, or I could just press the G key. G as in George is to repeat the last command. Again, watch what happens. See? Changes, it added under our construction history. This transform geometry means that we did a freeze transformations. Ignore that. Okay, so that's everything. Sorry it couldn't be any shorter. I had to explain everything. Usually we would wipe this out. Usually, that's the last and final step. But I want you to leave the construction history because I want to see this is proof that the work was done. So that I can see that you did the work. And when you save this, you're gonna save it as say for example file, save as. You can save as your name underscore capsule modeling exercise, and then you save it. Okay, and then dump it into your W drive, and then from the W drive, when you go inside of it, go into Enum 2300, and there's going to be 001, 002, 003. You choose whichever one it is for your class, and inside of that, it's going to be our folder. You'll have your folder, dump into your folder. Alright, so that's everything.